All right, legends, we've completed round 19. It wasn't a great finish, let's be honest, for my side in fantasy. Supercoach wasn't too bad, but yeah, we come out the other side of it with a bailout try to Olakuatu. So we're happy with that at least. A little bit of luck there on that front. But let's get into the 5 things I learnt this week. Short and sharp. The first one there being Manly's backline. Looking really strong, even without Kola there. We do get Turbo out the back, and Lehigh Hopewadi looked great on that left wing as well. He did finish a couple of tries there really nice, and he also got that lovely catch and pass back to Tommy Talau. So a good amount of smarts there. So they've got a good amount of players there that can slot in and do good things in that back line. And obviously their middles is the main worry at the moment, and they looked really strong today. Yes, against a very poor Knights side, but yeah, they're in a good spot, and they're proving, right. They're hopefully for them they can get into sort of that top 5, 5 or 6, so they can get a home final. That's the goal at the moment, but we'll get into a ladder check a little bit later. But number 2 there, the defense just seemed to be out the window this week. We had Dolphins and Bunnies there, 36-28, and anytime Dolphins play, it seems to be somewhere around that mark, 32-28, 30-26, that type of range. So you saw that there. The Sharks were able to put on 58 against the Tigers. Titans and Eels, it went out to a big early lead, a quick one for the Titans before a little bit of a shift in momentum and a return from the Eels. So that was kind of the lowest points of the week, but still 40. Broncos and Dragons, same deal. Dragons got out to a massive lead, and the Broncos tried to come back, and then the Eagles dominated the Knights there in that one. So something to note in this one, guys, because a lot of teams have a bunch of Origin guys out, and they're usually in leadership positions there and very important players. You do see structures, communication, all that type of thing fall to the wayside there. And a lot of these guys are used to playing good attacking footy all through their junior careers and into New South Wales Cup, Queensland Cup, and first grade. So makes a little bit more sense. But we'll have to see what happens next week with the defensive side of things, because last week it was a little bit better. Definitely. You see the Dogs game there, 13-12. You had 14-6 to Panthers over the Broncos, 20-16 with the Titans. So they're actually playing a little bit of defense at the moment. The Titans, that Bunnies Eels. We got the Finns had a bye that week, but Roosters Dragons was a big one. Knights and Raiders was fairly low, 21-20 for Cowboys and Eagles. So yeah, a few games big, but most of them were fairly close outside of really dominant teams like the Roosters right now. So just something to note there. Number 3, the Broncos done. Can they win enough games is the question. And yeah, the wheels are really starting to fall off for a few teams. And Broncos are one of those teams where the wheels are unfortunately falling off. Tigers have completely fallen off in this game. Adam Dewey was not happy at all. Said they were terrible. And that was a very correct statement about that side. You've got the Eels that I think are completely gone as well. The Knights are starting to fall off too. So there's 4 teams that are in a bit of strife. And obviously the Broncos last week played pretty well against Penrith. So you can't say that they're completely gone. The wheels haven't completely fallen off. But they cannot win games at the moment. And we'll obviously get to the ladder and at the end of this and go through if we think that they're actually half a chance not to make it to these finals for one, but actually make some waves after being grand finalists last year. Injuries just had a break for a week, didn't they? About a week and a half there. This last week and a half has been absolutely shocking. Obviously, finding out about Latrell mid-game, Kohler mid-game or early game for them as well, both of them. That's kind of where this started. And then we had Max King news, and he's gone. Skeezy wasn't even playing this week. And then you've got Aitken, Greg Mazu copped an injury in this one as well, or a cork. You got Charlie Geimer, a bunch of different guys that are fairly relevant that have picked up injuries along with Appy as well. So there will be teams and players out there that have a bunch of these guys, and they're in a bit of strife next week with Latrell, Kohler, and everyone else, and Hines and everyone else that's already out for an extended period of time. So from that standpoint, guys, if you are in a bit of strife with lots of guys out, trade in the guys you love watching, and that'll keep you going with this fantasy and Supercoach season. That's really going to be helpful. Trading in someone like Tommy in that game this afternoon at least would have been fun to watch, given he got a nice try off a kick, got a bunch of try assists in there as well, and did good things. So Ponga next week. These types of guys are going to be really fun to kind of get into your side over the next few weeks. You should have a fair bit of cash left over if you've got a Hines and Aitken, these types of players there. Latrell, if you wanted to sell those types of guys too. So yeah, definitely adding up, that's for sure. Onto the ladder. Let's go straight to the Broncos, like we were speaking about just before, and they're on 18 points. So they are currently 4 points outside the 8, and their points differential very similar to that of the Cowboys on 1 there, and they're on 9. They're the Broncos. So they have 1 bye remaining, so there's obviously 2 points there, and it's going to be tough. They're in 13th, and they've got 4 teams outside the 8 in front of them that are all on at least 1 point or 1 win to 2 wins better than them. In the Dragons getting a nice win there. That obviously the Knights losing helps them a little bit, but it does push Eagles a little bit higher into 23 points. And the Cowboys coming off the back of this the bye this weekend, they get that 2 points already, and then they've got 1 more bye as well. So it's going to be fairly tough to get there for the Broncos. They do have a run that's not the craziest in the world, but they still need to win some games, and they've lost I think 6 in a row or something now, which is absolutely ridiculous. 4 on the trot there that they've got. I believe it's up to 6 now, and they do come into the Knights next week. So, that'll be a fun game with their backline, getting back into things. Hopefully, a lot of them backing up with Gagai and Ponga returning, and then Bradman Best on the left-hand side. I wonder if he'll actually back up, given he's going into this Origin game with a hammy niggle. So, that'll be a fun game with both sides having players backing up. But if they lost this next one coming up against the Knights, who will be so embarrassed by that performance just then, they could be in a world of pain with the Titans or the Bunnies going ahead of them, because they're on the same points as Titans and Rabbitohs, who are fighting for a spot in the 8 themselves. And that loss hurt for the Bunnies. But a few teams really struggling at the moment. I think with Fogarty returning for Raiders, they'll probably improve a bit. The Dragons aren't going too bad. Knights that loss really hurts them. Hopefully they can play a bit better. Warriors on and off at the moment. Broncos really struggling. Titans on the way up. Rabbitohs on the way up. Eels and the Tigers not in a good position. But looking up top, that top 4 is looking more and more set. Definitely at this point of the season, the Bulldogs have got through their second to last bye there. Actually, scratch that. Their third and final bye. That's why they're at 16 play. The same to that with Storm and also the Panthers, but. Sharkies and Roosters both have that 1 extra bye to come, which is ideal for them. The Sharkies get that 1 this week, which will get them another 2 points. So definitely can't say it's set. I would say that the Storm, Panthers, and Roosters, just on the way they're playing right now, they should be locked into this 4. And then it is a fight between Sharks, Dogs, and I would say the Dolphins right now. I think they still have a small chance, unless the Eagles start to play as good as today and continue to improve. They could be a small chance at this top 4. But at the moment, it's a little bit of a run between that top 6 there. So a massive win for the Dolphins this week it was. Dogs getting their bye with losing Max King, losing a few guys. Still got Fox there 3 weeks away, according to Gus. They're doing really well and have that spot at 5th at the moment. They'll be fighting to get into that 4, or at least stick with that number 5 slot. Eagles and Cowboys have got a little bit of a fight on their hands, along with the Dragons. So they're the 3 I think that'll be fighting for sort of 7th, 8th, 9th there. I don't see that changing too much. You could obviously see the Broncos come back into the fight a little bit, but I don't expect any of the below teams other than the Broncos to come up and really fight for that sort of 6, 7, 8. Titans are playing fairly well at the moment, same with the Rabbitohs, but can they beat these guys and can they win enough in a row to catch up? I'm not sure if that's actually going to be the case for them. So that's pretty simple on the ladder check for that one. And then finishing off with the fantasy tip of the week, I was having a bit of a laugh at last week's one. So I mentioned there that round 19 is going to be the biggest or the second biggest moving week of the season so far in terms of ranks. And I said, if you have an opportunity to get potential keepers or cheaper value players doing well, Sipley, Kohler, etc., that have, before he got injured, we found that out, and get 13 on the park. So really for this week, it was Sipley, Whiten, these types of guys there, and get 13 on the park this week. You'll make big ranks and get a jump over those who run out of trades. It's not going to be as easy to make ranks in 20 and beyond due to people launching trades. Well, I'll have to change that now. I would have to say, I think it'll be easier to make ranks in 24, 25, and 26 and 27, given how many people are going to have to max trades this week. So it's crazy how that one's worked out. And this week, personally, I had 13 on the park and I didn't make many ranks, just a couple in the end, with Greg not going so well, Olaquatu bringing him in over Colin Matungi is another 20 odd points, and not having Nickera selling Campbell a few weeks ago to get 17 on the park. having Aiken. Like, there's a lot of things that didn't go so well this week from my side, and I imagine a lot of your sides as well, with a few people doing great as well. And just an early shout out to some of the guys in the private group. We have 5 people out of the 200 in the top 61. And shout out to Max in 61st. We've got Bevan in 19th there, doing great things. And I'll shout out the other guys once we get into the round results video, but that's where they're currently at. Pre-updates there. Between 19th, we have, I think, a 28th, a 38th, a 39th, and the 61st for the top 5 in the crew. So they're all fighting out for a big prize at the back end. And yeah, if you guys are keen on next year getting into the private group, there's a lot of guys doing well, and there's good prizes up for grabs this year, especially 1,500 for first in that overall crew, only up against 200 people. So yeah, pretty cool. And yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. After we give you the fantasy tip for this week, I didn't forget you, but go nuts, guys. Have some fun. Seriously though, just trade out injured guys and bring in guys with a good injury history. Is that kind of where we should be at? I'm tempted. You know, Isaiah Yo's, these types of guys, even if they're not going to miss, they're going to be rested for games, at least they'll get through the season most likely. It's crazy right now. So it's pretty simple in round 20. Try and get close to a 17 on the park. Even if that is 4 trades, whatever that is, get rid of the guys that are out long term. Sort your squad out. Welcome back some trades. We'll have a lot more views in the videos, hopefully, as well. So we've got a plethora of guys that we can select. So it's going to be lots of fun. And just enjoy watching the superstars returning to normal footy as we near finals. You got Turbo's just returned, had a great game this afternoon. You got Ponga there returning. Cleary's coming back this week. So a lot of the big dogs are returning as we lose a couple of them in Latrell and Hines and stuff. But, you know, we get a little bit of a fun new perspective to watch and see these guys in action doing cracking things. So, yeah, get some of those guys on your side, whether you want to take a bit of a risk on a Cleary, whether you want to go for some of the mid-range guys like we've spoken about in Whiten and Randall and stuff like that. And by goodness, I wish I went to Whiten over Greggy now. It just seems like a mistake now, but yeah, I just didn't expect Whiten to literally take on everything, and then I didn't look into it enough, the run that they have coming up. So yeah, he could be a straight swap for Aiken, leaving me plenty of cash in the bank. And if Greg's corks keeps him out a game or two, then, which I think it might do, he'll be going as well, because they got to buy in round 21. So yeah, we'll work that one out as we come. But yeah, enjoy the weeks coming up. We've got 8 weeks left of the season. Thanks so much for being here. If you are still watching these ones here on a Sunday night, hopefully it means you've had a good week. But if you haven't had a good week and you're still watching, that's some dedication. I thank you very, very much. And yeah, I hope you guys have a cracking end to your weekend, and we'll catch you on the other side in the round results video, but also going through that final game of fantasy stats. So cheers, guys.